Good morning, kids. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone's doing fantastic. I just got my coffee here, just moving my stool around here so I can actually sit down, enjoy my coffee, have a little chat. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Abyss AM edition. I'm your host, the Eternal Abyss. I'm running a little late today, obviously. Didn't really start around 10. It's 10:20 right now. Please excuse the tardiness. I'm gonna try and keep this stream a little bit under control in the sense that I can't go on for like 2 hours today. I got some things that I gotta take care of a little bit later in the day, so I got to be concise to the point. As usual, I want to say hello to everybody on all the different platforms that I'm on, and hello Bitwave, hello Intruder, Runer, Hetero Alpha God. Thank you for checking out the stream this morning. How you guys doing? I looked at your stream, a couple of the streams. I saw you streaming. Yo, you're still streaming, Hetero Alpha God. Interesting stream that you had. I was checking that out. Very interesting. So, I also want to say hello to anybody that is on YouTube, as well as anybody on D Live and Periscope, of course. And I'm going to make sure that I have my chat up for that. Hopefully I won't boomer this up here. Here we go. Might get some sound here. One moment. Yep. Haha. There we go. I try to like not have the audio automatically kick on when I look at some stuff here, but sometimes it happens. I can hear myself sometimes through my software. But here we are. Hi, Troll Megas RNM. Am I missing something? I have my coffee. I hope you have yours. Excuse my voice a little bit. I woke up with some sinus issues, so I may sound a little congested. I may sniffle a little bit during the stream. Please excuse that. Unfortunately, it's a thing I have to deal with on a regular basis. Allergies are no fun, my friends. So I wake up and there's some interesting stuff happening in the Twitterverse this morning. Everybody is hating on Lou Dobbs and the Catholic Church. There's a new Twitter account from the White House called White House Rapid Response, apparently. I don't know if this is real or not. So I don't know what this is exactly. I haven't heard of any announcement about that or anything like this. It's called WH Rapid Response. So that's one thing that is new that I was not aware of. That just if it's in fact like a legit account, but it's not verified or anything like that. So I'm not entirely sure what this is about. So I can't say follow it or don't follow it, or I can endorse it or not endorse it. I hadn't heard any sort of official announcement on this from like the press secretary or anything like that, or anything coming out of the White House. So let's for the time being assume that it's just another Twitter account that's pro-Trump. Who knows? Or an pro-Trump administration at this point. I'm really not sure. I'm not gonna trash it or anything like that because I don't have any information, and I'd rather not set forward a like a condemnation or condoning of it or promotion of it or anything like that. I really don't know. But in response, instead of what's happened yesterday with everybody hating on Goya, now today, by Goya. is trending. Yesterday, everybody was losing their minds over Goya because the CEO was praising Trump. Said, "God bless, God. It's a blessing to have Trump as president." Um, and hey, there's plenty of CEOs that have trashed Trump. There've been plenty of businesses that have outright offended people that are Trump supporters, that are their customers or their user base. So if a company wants to support Trump and the administration, I don't see any reason to vilify them. And honestly, I've spoken about my opinion on businesses, so I'm not going to go into my whole diatribe as I usually do, but suffice to say, I really wish that companies wouldn't be political. There really isn't a reason for that. I don't believe there is. I've never believed there is. I find it to be uh just a abuse of a platform and money and power that they have to push their own political agendas, and it's unnecessary. If they want to be a PAC, they should be registering as a PAC. Period. That's it. Beyond that, I don't see any reason why companies need to, get on soapboxes and either be pro or against something politically. The only thing companies should really care about is if whether policies negatively affect their business and their bottom line and their employees. That's really what it should. That's what they should care about more than anything. So I don't know. I just think that it's ridiculous that companies put themselves in that sort of stage when they shouldn't. But hey, I've never had an issue with Goya as a company. This makes me appreciate them more because they actually appreciate what the White House is doing, what the administration is doing. They're not trying to vilify people, and you know what? Hey, I can jump on that bandwagon. Buy Goya. Hashtag buy Goya. Enjoy some of their fine foods, I suppose. I have no issue with that. So go ahead, enjoy, support Goya, support companies. There's not a lot of companies that are really outspoken, actually. If you want to be fair, there aren't a lot of companies that are outspoken for Trump. So it does take some courage on the part of the CEO of Goya to actually put forth that sort of stance, and I say kudos to him. And I hope that I do hope that the trend is a helpful trend for Goya, and I do hope that many people do support them. My coffee's still very hot. Gonna have to wait a little bit until it tapers off here so I can take some sips of it. Okay. What else is happening? One of the top trends right now is Lou Dobbs. Good old Lou Dobbs. I like Lou Dobbs. I don't always agree with Lou Dobbs, but I like him. He's a likable TV personality. I think he's kind of a fun guy to listen to. He's been in the news media for a long time as well, so it's interesting to hear. So I think that it's always interesting to hear. People are losing their minds though about Lou Dobbs right now, and the reason why people are losing their minds is because Lou Dobbs referred to the deep state and said that the deep state, of course, also extends to the Supreme Court. Now, let's take an aside here. I'm not gonna say whether I believe or not believe in the deep state, or agree with them or don't agree with them, because everybody has their own personal kind of beliefs when it comes to the level of corruption that's in our government, in the United States government. Some people call it deep state. Some people call it the swamp. Some people call it elites versus the people. So to me, the terminology is not incredibly important in the sense that whether you call it tomato, or something else, it's still the same thing. Excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna read chat here. There was a manga comic book store here owned by a lefty that said that they couldn't care less about writers, publishers, or customers' politics since they are a company that has one job: making profit. Exactly. Sorry about my reading. Like I still am the supreme reader, as what it says on my screen, but I haven't had much coffee. I haven't had any coffee yet, so I'm a little slow on the uptake here. And my vision in the morning isn't the greatest. Let's just put it that way. I should probably increase the font size on my browser just while I'm streaming, so I don't have to struggle reading any letters. I'm a boomer. Well, not quite, but I'm getting there. I'm getting to boomer status pretty soon. Oh boy. Excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna take an aside here. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Hey, Magna Zero. This is where it's at. Hail King Magna. How are you, sir? I hope you're doing well. I caught a little bit of your stream last night too. You were playing some very strange video. These two weird animated characters dancing to it sound like electronic music. It was very interesting stuff, sir. You've been up all night drinking? Oh man, no, I can't pull all-nighters anymore. I was up somewhat late last night, but I didn't pull an all-nighter. The JoJo video. Oh yeah. That's what it was. It was a JoJo video. Okay, it was pretty entertaining. But going back to what I was talking about when it comes to Goya. Oh man, you have far more stamina than I, sir, to be up all night drinking. I hope you're doing well, though. You know, I hope it was fun, and I hope you're doing well this morning. That you're not feeling the ill effects of it. Oy vey. Oh no. Coffee, yes, lovely. So, but going back to the whole, well, not the company thing, but I was talking about Lou Dobbs. So he mentions the deep state, and everybody's losing their mind because they're calling him like a conspiracy theorist nut and things like that. So I just want to stay, like I said, on the side. I'm not really going to get really deeply into whether I believe there's a deep state or not, or QAnon and all that kind of stuff, because to me that's not incredibly important. As I mentioned, there is a huge level of corruption in our government. That is true. You want to call it the deep state? Call it the deep state. You want to call it the swamp? Call it the swamp. You want to call it old dinosaurs that will not relinquish their power? Call it that. You know, call it whatever you want to call it. But if you want to be honest and you want to be somewhat objective, if you recognize that there's corruption in the United States government, which there is, nobody can deny that. Nobody on the left, nobody on the right. Do you want to tell me that that corruption does not extend to the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court is somehow immune to this? I don't think so. The Supreme Court is, of course, subject to corruption, much like any other branch of government, which is why our founding fathers put in these checks and balances and divided the three branches of government into those three branches of government to purposely try to reduce the level of corruption that you would have. Excuse me. Just coughed up a piece of my lung here, apparently. Excuse me. Need some more coffee. There we go. Okay, so so yeah, of course, if there's corruption, it would extend to the Supreme Court. I mean, you already have seen many decisions that were politically biased. You have seen advocating and legislating from the bench all the way up to the Supreme Court. So yeah, it doesn't shock me to hear something like that. It doesn't shock me to hear Lou Dobbs or any other reporter for that matter to just be honest and say, yeah, there's corruption. He uses the term deep state a lot. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the use of that term, but it's his show. If he feels that that's the best way to represent his point, then so be it. It's up to him to a certain point. So what am I going to tell you here? I'm not gonna vilify him like the left is doing on Twitter right now. The Twitter mob is just attacking him, and again, this is the funny thing about when you see these attacks online. It's always the same attack, the same words. They all use the same. It's the right, the left complained about Russian bots. My God, you look at what's showing on on Twitter. They're just all bots. They're all saying the same exact thing, and that's it. Um, I think I have to do a very quick, brief intermission for like 2 seconds to run and grab a Kleenex. So, I don't want to leave dead air here. So let's see what I can do very quickly here while I get myself situated. Like I said, allergies in the morning and all that kind of fun stuff is always fun, ain't it? So let's see. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get a copyright strike if I use something like this, but I guess I don't know. No, I don't. I'm trying to avoid using anything that's copyrighted here. Oh boy, this isn't gonna be good. If anyone has any good intermission music, provide it in chat, please, because that would be that would be useful. Oh wait, this could work. Let's see here. Just typing something here real quick. Let's see if this works. OBS is weird about this sort of thing sometimes. Yeah, I gotta adjust the cropping too. This like never ends with the software. What's going on? Hey, hello. Wake up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Or not. What the heck is going on here? Oh, that's what's going on. Duh. Sorry. See, I should have this stuff prepared beforehand, and as usual, I don't, which just reinforces the fact that I invite people to support me because I need help. I obviously need some assistance in what's going on here, so let me put this here. I will be right back, kids. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, yeah, like I said, it was just gonna be a couple of seconds because I had to run grab some Kleenex here. Whew, alright. Not here, you won't just tell everyone to come here. What's going on? What are you talking about? I don't, sorry. I kind of lost track of what happened here because I was trying to get an intermission graphic and music up while I was running to get some Kleenex. Coffee. I'm not sure I follow MZ. By the way, hi! Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. So going back to Lou Dobbs, because that's what we were talking about. Because Lou Dobbs mentioned the deep state and everybody's losing their mind. Yeah, and that's the thing about social media. You hear all the critiques that are on there. Everybody's, just trashing Lou Dobbs, jumping on him, and they're all saying the exact same thing with just some very slight variation. So it's obviously that this is an artificial thing. It's obvious that this is an artificial thing where platforms like Twitter are just weaponized and used. And some people may say that it's conspiratorial to say something like that. So be it. Fine. If you want to call me a conspiracy theorist about that, because I don't have hard evidence to show, except that whenever these trends start, these left-leaning trends start on Twitter, they all use the same exact wording. Not that on the right it doesn't happen, but it seems far more coordinated on the left, because it's like copy paste. That's the problem. It's not that everybody has a similar opinion and they all express a similar opinion. They're expressing the same exact opinion. Case in point, another trend that's happening this morning was there's news about the Catholic Church receiving PPP loans. Now, first of all, the AP reported that the Catholic Church received $1.4 billion in PPP loans, which is a highly inaccurate way of describing what happened. But that doesn't surprise me, because the media has never been a fan of the Catholic Church. They've always targeted the Catholic Church. It's an easy target. The church has always been an easy target, and the mainstream media has never been objective when it comes to reporting on the let's just call it the colorful history of the Catholic Church in modern times. So what happened? Individual parishes and nonprofits related to the Catholic Church received PPP loans just like every other nonprofit organization and religious nonprofit organization. This is not anything scandalous. This is not anything new. This is not anything unusual, especially if you know and understand the structure of the Catholic Church. This money did not go to the Vatican. This money did not go in the coffers of the diocese. And if an individual diocese office requested a PPP loan for that individual office, for, I don't know, depending on the size of the diocese, you may have, I don't know, 20 people that work there. Yeah, maybe they receive some money. But they are a nonprofit, and under the rules of how the PPP loans work, nonprofits could partake in that as long as they fell within those guidelines. And individual parishes filed and got that money. So the AP is highly disingenuous and dishonest in their clickbait title and how they twisted what happened here. It's ridiculous, honestly, that news media outlets keep getting away with stuff like this, where they keep twisting stories. They put clickbait article titles, highly inaccurate article titles, yet there's no consequence. There's no consequence to their actions, and it's getting frustrating for someone like myself who has seen this for many years. This isn't anything new. And yet there's still nothing that is done. But such is the world of propaganda in the media. And that exists. I mean, just look at what happens with CNN and MSNBC and all these other news outlets that straight out lie. New York Times straight out lie. BuzzFeed straight out make up stories. Then they have to do retractions. But the big splash that they were looking for, the exposure that they were looking for, it happened already. The damage has been done. Whatever retraction they do, it's not gonna. When you have these partisan ideologues and you throw lies to them that they latch onto, it's easy to throw a lie for someone with a cult-like mind to latch onto. Removing that from the cult-like mind is the challenge. Retracting that and saying, hey, this was actually absolutely false, is incredibly difficult to convince of someone. When that person is convinced that a lie is true, and you show them evidence that that truth, quote unquote, that they perceive as true is a lie, they're gonna just say, oh no, you're just full of crap. I don't believe you. You're lying. And there's a good amount of people that are out there doing that. And there's a lot of paid people that are doing that. Not just in the media. You have paid people on Twitter. You had the Krasensteins. Those two brothers that, I don't know if you have anybody, has anybody ever heard them? I only heard them speak like on video on YouTube because they started this channel before they got banned off of Twitter. I heard them speak like on one video, and it was enough to make me laugh so hard I almost spit my drink out. So for my own health, I decided it was probably best I don't listen to them, because I don't want to, bust my guts and maybe burst burst some internal organ out of laughing so hard at them. I mean, I don't claim to have a perfect radio voice. I don't claim to sound absolutely fantastic myself. But when you sound like this, I'm sorry. You should be a bit more self-aware, and you probably shouldn't go on a radio show. Or you probably shouldn't try and start your own radio show. That's all I'm saying. Again, I don't want to go into ad hominems. I don't want to delve into that. I'm just making an observation from someone who streams, who's someone who's dealt with acoustics and microphones and things like that in the past, and videos and all that kind of stuff. So take that with a grain of salt. But the point being is, you had these people like the Krasensteins who ended up getting banned because they were violating the terms of service by what they were doing on Twitter. They were paid, and they even admitted to having a bunch of alt accounts, which you're not allowed to have on Twitter. That's against the terms of service. So now who's here in their stead? One of their wives. I don't know which one. One of the two guys married apparently, and and the wife is now doing double duty tweeting for both of them essentially, which would count as an alt, I think, if all she's doing is exactly what they've been doing. So I don't know how Twitter allows her account to be online, and everything that she tweets, every possible thing that she tweets is an absolute freaking lie. It's absolutely false. It's absolute propaganda. She's probably paid as well. There was reports that she was being they were both being paid to just drum up resistance against Trump and just tweet against everything that he would say, and she's doing the same exact thing. And you have other people that are doing that too. So it is. I guess it's the nature of the beast, and it's difficult for a platform like Twitter. And I'll be fair to Twitter in this scenario. It's very difficult for a platform like Twitter to kind of remain open and uh tell people, go on my platform, say what you want to say, while they are being censorious. There are problems with how Twitter manages things. But if you have people like this where they're paid shills and all they do is go on Twitter and just tweet garbage all the time, how can Twitter really combat stuff like that? It's not an easy thing. I mean, algorithms can only go so far, and even manual, like actual people examining accounts, can only go so far. I think what would need to happen in the case of like Mrs. Krasenstein, um, I call her Mrs. Lionstein because that's all she does is lie. One thing that I would recommend for anyone is to basically not just counter every tweet that they put out, because you're gonna have to do that. But beyond that, what you can do as well is see if there is evidence to support that she's violating the terms of service. Because if she's doing the exact same thing as her husband and brother-in-law were, which at least on the appearance it appears to be so, then that's definitely a violation of the terms of service. If she's just acting as an alt, and she is an alt account for her husband or her brother-in-law, as they openly admitted to having, it may behoove Twitter to look into that. Now, I'm not into this whole cancel thing where people should just be removed from platforms. Free speech is free speech, that's fine. But there is a difference between just an individual expressing an opinion versus a paid account that is designed to be a political entity here, that's being someone that's being paid to propagandize. That's the things of that is the level of like Soviet Russia. That's the level of Goebbels. That's the level of Cuba propaganda and Venezuelan kind of socialist propaganda. I don't think that has any business anywhere. Honestly, I think that if you're gonna have an open platform, have it as an open platform, and if there's evidence of paid shills working to subvert, not only working to subvert like a government or a country or things like that, but also it subverts your platform. Like it cheapens Twitter when the platform is just a stage to be basically used by these individuals in such a fashion. Like if I developed a platform like Twitter, I would not be happy that people are just like treating it that way. like they're treating my platform like a redheaded stepchild. I mean, no, you don't. You need to respect the platform a bit more. You need to respect people's beliefs a bit more, and I wouldn't necessarily agree with that sort of thing. But then again, you also have to. It's a fine line, like people using platforms to fight against actual tyrannical governments like China. for example, or Iran, things like that. So there is a fine line to be drawn when it comes to how platforms are used. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Wayfair is trending as well for some reason. So Wayfair apparently has cabinets that they sell. And the names of the cabinet are names from missing children? It appears to be like the case here. Um this is really weird. Why the heck? There's like some weird connection happening here between Wayfair and sex trafficking and human trafficking and pedophiles apparently. Like there's a video of a guy putting up like doing a search on Wayfair and showing how like pictures of underage children show up. Now they're like in they are dressed and they're um yeah, that is those photos are a little odd. Um Peculiar. Very peculiar things that are happening with Wayfair. That is I don't know if this is necessarily true or just conspiratorial against Wayfair, but um this is weird. So apparently there are some products that seem to be using the name of missing children. There's a this theory is trending right now, and there seems to be some. So this is the news article here. There's actually a news article related to this now. Wayfair accused of selling missing children after e-furniture store lists cabinets and throw pillows for $12,000. So Wayfair, an American e-commerce company that sells furniture, began trending on social media on Friday morning, July 10th, after thousands of people took to Twitter to indulge in a conspiracy theory accusing Wayfair of child trafficking. The theory started after people noticed that the company was charging exorbitant prices for items like storage cabinets and throw pillows, and although all of the items appeared identical, they had different names written on the item descriptions. Some social media users believe that the furniture and home goods company is selling missing children, quote unquote, through their high-priced cabinets and throw pillows costing nearly $10,000, $12,000, and $9,000. Multiple Twitter users posted pictures of the website high-priced cabinets, which users claimed are listed alongside people's names. They claim that although the cabinets or the large boxes look like the same product, they all had different names, mostly of girls and particularly of missing children. One user wrote, "So all the names pull up missing females. I searched Neria and she is missing since 2010. Yaritza is also a missing female." Another user wrote, "People are suspecting that they're selling people in these large boxes, storage cabinets on Wayfair. They all are the same product but have different names, all female names. They are priced 10K to 15K, more than the cabinets sold elsewhere. Hashtag child trafficking." There were many who claimed that after people talking about the Wayfair listing of the suspicious cabinets, the particular listing disappeared, while others suggested that interested people could still Google search those images from the website. People don't believe me, but now it's coming up on the website, but you can still find it on Google. Oh, it's not coming up on the website, but you can still find it on Google. One user in a long thread of tweets on the issue wrote, What I'm not understanding is how did people running Wayfair not question the fact that people are selling cabinets with specific girls' names over 10K? Another added. One user on the same Twitter thread suggested that a case had been opened into the claims. Somebody posted about this on Reddit and their account got reported. Another person talked to Wayfair for an explanation about cost specs, and they could not give an answer. They called the trafficking hotline, and they are reportedly opening a case. We'll see how this turns out. There were others who pointed Wayfair's history of selling furniture to migrant detention facilities, where thousands of immigrant children were housed, and how the company's employees last year had staged a walkout to protest the firm's decision. So let's get one thing straight before jumping the gun. We don't know everything, one user wrote. Let me also close off by asking a question. If child trafficking was happening all under Wayfair's nose, how come the former Wayfair workers turned protesters did not say anything about it? Several users, including Redditors, reported that when they selected the SKU codes of the suspected items on Russian search engine Yandex, the search results produced images of little girls. However, if the person uses any combination of numbers preceded by SRC USA, the result would be similar. The claims made by social media uses, I think that they mean users, have yet to be presented with evidence outside screenshots of the company's high-priced items with human names. So that's what's happening on Twitter right now. So Wayfair is trending. It's being accused of child trafficking. They're saying that you can use SKU numbers to bring up child underage children photos, which I've seen the post here. I need some coffee here. All right. So I have no idea what this is really about. There's a lot of crap being thrown at Wayfair. Wayfair has been vilified ever since they sold furniture to the those detention centers. A little more coffee here. So it wouldn't surprise me that you have people trying to hurt it for that reason. They have their political reasons for it. Is it weird that you would have these cabinets named after missing children? Yeah. I'm not saying that's not weird. That is an odd coincidence, I must say. But I'm not entirely sure how Wayfair works and how they get their products listed. To my understanding, they're a marketplace. So they would be providing a marketplace for third-party vendors to sell their products. Amazon does the same thing. You have other companies that do it. Sears for a while had that. I don't know if they still do. Walmart also has it. Best Buy has it. All major retailers don't exclusively sell their own products. You're going to have third-party vendors that come in and sell. And I don't know about what their vetting process is when it comes to that, of who can be a third-party retailer. Some companies probably have higher standards when it comes to that. Others probably just leave it open and anybody can sell just about anything. So it seems like those products were removed. It seems like a Wayfair is responding to this and trying to contain it. What this is all about for real, I don't know. I'm not gonna get ahead of what's happening with that, since this is just trending now. Nobody really knows what's going on. This may be just a bogus thing, which it happens with Twitter. You have a lot of times these news items that explode on Twitter, and then it turns out it was just baloney or just a bunch of people trolling, or it turns out to be just a misreporting of something or a misunderstanding of something. So take the Wayfair trend with a grain of salt, I say. See, and we'll see if anything really actually does come out of it. of any truth. Mm. So other things that just that are trending right now is there is a news report here on absentee ballots. And there's a report that, let's see, I had it up. Where'd it go here? I hate this interface. West Virginia mail carrier. Here it is. So there's a West Virginia mail carrier that was he seems to be tampering with ballots, in this case for the GOP. And you have also, but this is coming from BuzzFeed. So I don't know if I believe BuzzFeed so much, but I can tell you that there is evidence. There is evidence that mail-in ballots, there's fraud in that, even with absentee ballots. Absentee ballots is a little different though, because absentee ballots, there are requirements for you to be on that list. If you just don't get it willy-nilly. So there is a difference. So people saying, there's a lot of people online saying, oh, Trump is saying mail-in ballots bad, absentee ballots are good, and they're just the same thing. No, they aren't the same thing. And if you claim that they are the same thing, you're just plain ignorant. They are not the same thing. In order to obtain an absentee ballot, there are specific requirements that you must fulfill. Okay? And they're listed on the government website or whatever, where you can register for that. So this is ridiculous to make such a claim. And absentee ballots are, there's more vetting when it comes to that sort of thing. Like if you're overseas and you're an American citizen and you want to vote, that's what the absentee ballot is for. If you're serving in the military overseas, that's what the absentee ballot is for. Mail-in ballots is not the same thing. Just sending a ballot to anybody without any way of verifying really who these people are. Like I've seen some of these where they just send it to people's homes and say, "Do you want to mail it? Do you want a ballot?" And you can just say yes. And there's no any real way of verifying that it's you when you're requesting this. So there's a lot of problems with how mail-in ballots are set up, and there is a good chance there is evidence of fraud. And I'm not saying it's fraud only on one side. I'm not saying that it's just fraud on the left. Yeah, it can happen on the right too. There's this apparent report from BuzzFeed, but I've heard some other reports on both sides. So I would say it's better to not do that. It's better to not have mail-in ballots, because if you're going to do that, you have to have much stricter vetting and a much stricter process to verify that indeed who's requesting it is indeed that person. There has to be some way to verify that you get one vote per person. And election fraud, voter fraud, is nothing new. This is something that's been going on for a long time. John F. Kennedy got a bunch of votes from dead people, for example. That helped him get into office. Same thing happened with Obama. I remember news reports. I think I'm trying to remember what state this news report came out of. It was one of the states, like I don't know if it was like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something like that. It was one of those states in that area of the United States. I don't recall specifically. So it really depends on it really depends on whether people want to commit the fraud or not. The method, there are some methods that make it easier than others, obviously. Like if you have like zero vetting and you just mail ballots out willy-nilly to everybody, yeah, sure. Uh, I mean, sure. It's going to be very easy to commit fraud in that fashion. But it isn't the first time that fraud has been done when it comes to elections, which is why there's really, I feel, a necessity for some sort of voter ID or some sort of verification process, some sort of virtual punch card or I don't know, something that just verifies that when you vote, you have something that goes, okay, you voted, you can't vote again. Period. You cast your vote, that's it. And you can only have this card for wherever you're at. Like, I know it's like the voter registration is supposed to, in theory, do that, but the voter registration is not adequate. You've had people that are bussed in for elections in different areas from out of state, and they vote in another state. And this is openly admitted on camera during like those interim Senate races or Congress, the House of Representative races, where they admit to, like, on camera, they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're busing people from all over the place, from this state, from that state, and they're voting in a completely different state." You're like, "What? You can't do that." And there have been reports of people that work in that field of whatever the positions are. I don't know the specific positions, but there were reports of people that were messing around with the votes. And there was like one report of a mail carrier dumping a bunch of these things in the dumpster, in the trash bin, for example. So, this is the problem, is that the left really wants to push for this mail-in ballot thing because they want to do that. They want to open up the floodgates for electoral fraud. So it's ridiculous. I don't like this. I don't like how, for many, many years and many elections, there is this sort of fraud going on. I really am not a fan of this sort of thing. I don't think anybody is. But I don't like the fact that nobody's acted on this. This is the thing that frustrates me more than anything. Fraud is going to happen to varying degrees. It's just going to happen. Because people are corrupt. And they're going to want to win at all costs, hold on to that power at all costs. So I don't see a problem with people in government trying to fix this thing. But you have no gumption, you have no spine, you have no chutzpah, you have nothing. Hi, Mom Patch. Welcome to the stream. Good to see ya. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It happens on both sides. It happens, it's very arbitrary with mail-in ballots where people can find any reason to try and invalidate it. Look what happened during the Bush-Gore election, too, with the hanging chads. I still remember that. I'm old enough to remember that. Many people may not, but I do. They were, or the pregnant chads versus the hanging chads, and what was valid, what was invalid, what was counted as a vote, what was not counted as a vote. So it's, this whole system that we have is a bit of a mess. And I feel that there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. And it's about time that the Republicans and this administration had an opportunity, and this was something that I think should have been handled from day one. As soon as Trump went into office, he should have secured all these things. Because they're going to try and make him a one-term president in any way possible. Impeachment, constant attacks about Russian hoax, taxes, etc., etc. Things of that nature. So it would have been, if I was Trump and I would have gotten elected in office, that would have been the first freaking thing I would have done. Voter ID or a voting system, like do a complete rebuild of our entire election system, where you don't have foreign companies or outside influences building voting machines. Yeah, it's relatively safe right now, Mom Patch. Somewhat. Somewhat. So that's my take on that. I feel that that's one of my critiques about Trump. I feel that he really did not address some issues that really should have been addressed as soon as he went into office. This should have been a day one thing. No, no, no. See, troll. The way it works is that you're except for me, because Mom Patch said so, and I agree with Mom Patch. So. I hope you have some coffee, Mom Patch. I'm enjoying mine. That's for sure. So I don't know. I'm kind of jaded about our electoral system here, about how voting goes down and all that kind of stuff. And it's just sad to see that no steps have been taken to really secure it. I mean, sure, Donald Trump tweets about stuff saying, that the left are trying to steal the election, and that the mail-in ballot fraud, it can be found in many elections, and there's truth to that. I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth, but as soon as you went into office, man, you had the opportunity. You had a supermajority. This turns into the whole argument of like what people criticize Obama about on the left. They're like, well, Obama had a supermajority. He didn't take care of this, and that, and that. And I'm like, well, yeah. And Trump, it kind of did the same thing. He prioritized certain things over others, which you have to do. I get that. So sorry, just replying here to a tweet real quick. So I don't want to turn into Lookner and just start tweeting live online. It's just that I was compelled to just reply to that so quickly. So, but anyways, another thing that's happening right now in the tech world, people are losing their minds because they can't listen to Spotify. Seems like Spotify is it seems like Spotify was down for a period of time, and it seems like Spotify is up again now. But it also appears like if your phone uses the Facebook SDK, um, like Viber, Spotify, Pinterest, SoundCloud, PUBG Mobile, etc. It seems like it's causing things to crash. But apparently there's this app here, which I may actually look into myself. Someone's posting this. It's called Lockdown. Let's see. Excuse me. There's an app called Lockdown Apps that appears to block apps from attempting to contact Facebook's servers. That's very interesting. I may do something like that. I don't like apps that really encroach on user data. I'm a big Hey Yaki. Who's blue pilled? What are you talking about? Yes, of course it excludes me. Thank you, Mom Patch. Thank you, mods. Yep, thank you. Spotify. Here's the thing with Spotify. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, on a personal rant about Spotify. So I attempted to use Spotify a while ago, and I found that there were a couple things that really there were some things about Spotify that really irked me. One of the things that really irked me was the fact that if I'm paying for a subscription, why am I so restricted in devices that I can use it on? That was one thing that really bothered me. But I kind of understand that because they don't want you to just pay for one account and then have the whole family share it. I get that. But at the same time, it's really a dick move. In my view, to be so restricted that you can't even have two devices playing at the same time. I think that's a little excessive. I never appreciated that about Spotify. The other thing I noticed about Spotify is that there was no labeling in terms of whether songs had explicit lyrics or not. Now, I don't particularly care if a song that I listen to has explicit lyrics or not, but there are scenarios like if I'm listening to music or playing music for someone that is of a much younger age than I'd like to know whether a song has explicit lyrics or not. iTunes labels this to their credit. The Apple Music stuff, they label it. They've been labeling it for a very long time. And I don't know if Spotify does now. I've heard that they do. I don't know if they do. I want my lyrics to generate. No, I mean some songs. Listen, I'm not a big fan of expletives in music. However, there are some songs where that stuff is thrown in there, and if that's how the singer wants his songs to be, if that's the art, quote unquote art, that person wants to put forth from an artistic point of view, I don't feel that it's right to censor this person who created this song for that fashion. In that fashion, I mean. But on the other side, as a consumer, I want to know. I just want to know whether a song has those lyrics or not. They probably do. They probably do. Mom Patch. They probably do offer both versions in many cases, but there's some songs that both versions don't exist. So it would be nice to know if there's a clean version or a radio edit version versus just a straight expletive version. And like I said, iTunes labeled this very clearly, very early on. Spotify for the longest time didn't care. And it seems like they started doing it from what I've been told, but they didn't retroactively fix their entire catalog. This is what I've been hearing. I could be wrong on this. I could be wrong, and maybe they did label everything now retroactively as well. But I always found that troublesome. Oh, I don't like Christian music. Hey, G Gallon, how you doing? I don't. I'm not a big fan of Christian rock. I don't think it destroys the art. I think that if you provide both versions, like this is the thing. I appreciate the original versions, and making that available is great. But if you're someone that uses music in certain environments, like if I'm playing music for a children's party, like if I'm with my nieces or nephews or young cousins or something like that, and we're just playing music and having a little get together. Do I really want to have that song dropping f bombs and smacking hoes and talking about all this kind of stuff with young children? Well, see, generally, and that's actually an interesting point you bring up, Mom Patch, because generally I am a purist when it comes to many things. I prefer unedited versions of things. I don't like dubs of anime, for example, or of anything. I prefer movies in original language. Um, I don't like stuff being modified or censored or things of that nature. Your kids should never listen to the top 40 or they will turn out gay. um, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if there's an exact correlation there, but I can definitely say that listening to top 40 really stunts your musical development. Because I have no reason to say that right now. Water? I didn't know water was included in that. Water makes you gay? When? Since when? Some anime I can probably believe that. Not all anime. There's some good anime out there. At least in the past, there was a lot of great anime in the past. Nowadays, anime is like, excuse me. Nowadays, anime is kind of like Disney. You have very impressive visuals, but really really bad when it comes to story and characters and plot. I see you, Yaki. I already answered you. I don't have a reason. I don't have a reason to say that right now. Dispatch has a girlfriend with a dog. What? What's going on? Well, I don't know what's going on here. This is really funny. Well, listen, if you're gonna super chat, you actually have to pay or something like that. Isn't that how it works? I don't understand how it works. So, but anyways, I'm gonna have to wrap up pretty soon here. So, I just want to cover one more thing about this technology stuff. So, going back to what I was talking about with Spotify, the other thing that I noticed about Spotify is that there's no real curation of their library. And what I mean by that is this. So, I was listening to some music on on Spotify. Oh, Dispatch has a roommate with a dog. Okay, I get that now. All right. Okay. um, that doesn't sound horrifying at all. No, of course not. No. So what happened with Spotify is this: the last thing that really was odd to me. So, pardon me. So I created several playlists and I was listening to certain songs and everything and Spotify like you would. Nothing unusual about that. And there were some particular songs that were just broken. They just sounded terrible. They were skipping. They were all these audio artifacts in there. It was just it was unlistenable. It was just terrible song. Not just terrible song. I mean, the file was in a terrible condition. So no matter what device I used, no matter what speakers, headphones, whatever, the file itself had all these defects, and it was a broken MP3 file or what have you. And it just needed to be fixed. There was no way to report it. That was the first thing that pissed me off about Spotify, is that there was no freaking way to tell Spotify that you have a bad file in your catalog. On top of that, I would see my playlists get modified. Stuff would get added and removed. Mostly removed. I would add stuff and then they would update their catalog and remove some track or something. And without any notification, my playlist would change. And I was like, dude, why? If you're going to change something, you need to at least notify me as a user, so I'm not going through my playlist thinking I'm losing my mind, saying, I know I had this song in here, why is it not here anymore? The third thing that I noticed about that was, you would go, I at the time, Spotify was competing with a new platform called RDO. And then I think Spotify bought them out. And RDO pretty much used the same library as Spotify, and they had the same files with the same audio problems. So I don't know where they were getting their catalog from, but it was just not a very good quality catalog. Because it was something that other platforms were just using as well. It seems like it was a catalog that anybody could use to tap into, and it had the same files, same problems, same audio issues. And then Spotify on top of that censors people. And it cancels people. I don't like that. I don't know. No, I spoke about TikTok yesterday, actually, in my evening stream. You weren't there, Mom Patch. I missed you. But TikTok being banned, that's amazing to me. I think that it would behoove, as I mentioned last night, I think that it's worth considering banning in the American U.S. government, just like the Indian government did, if apps are a security risk. If they pose a security risk, if they pose a danger to the operation of our government, I feel that maybe it's something that we need to look into. As a developer, as someone who makes websites and apps and things like that, I'm not a fan of having anything banned or anything censored like that. But I understand the national security risks, especially if it's coming from places like China, that their apps are essentially spyware. And they're data mining, and it's something that I think that needs to be seriously looked at. So with this whole thing with Spotify crashing, my take on that is, I don't use it. It doesn't bother me. I use my own library of music. I have so much music, and I use my own streaming thing that I stream to my own devices. I don't care about Spotify. Well, I do believe that code should be open source to an extent. I do think that some proprietary software or algorithms, there should be some sort of protections at least for that. I don't know about government reviewing all code. I don't like that. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that that's required. I think that um well, the problem with the patent board that you're mentioning, G Gallon, is that if you have a company like Google owns the patent office, basically. I've spoken to copyright and trademark attorneys about this, and they've told me that Google pretty much has taken over the United States Patent Office, where they just keep submitting patents over and over, and they pretty much own it. I think instead, I think instead there has to be, and this goes back to what I talk about when I talk about that transparency. Like the sun is the best disinfectant. I think apps should be required to show, not just say I access your GPS, or I access this, or I access that. I think companies, technology, software, apps, devices, they should all be explicit in showing this is what we access and this is what it is. They show you the data and tell you where it's going. To my knowledge, Google has been submitting the most patents in recent times. I don't think IBM, unless IBM has kicked things up a notch. No, yeah, and that's the problem. I don't trust government to review stuff. Exactly. Show me the data. I want to see where my information is going. I want to have control over that. I should be allowed to control that. Or there should be a big shift in how technology works, where things stay local on your device. Period. Most functionality doesn't really require you to have to phone home every few seconds. Yeah, but G Gallon, the problem is most branches, it doesn't matter if they're allegedly apolitical, they will be political. Inside, you're gonna have people who are partisan. And it's an unfortunate truth. So I would much rather propose a giant amount of transparency. I would rather propose that technology firms um, use a different model in their algorithms, and a different model in how their devices communicate, and a different model in how they use the data to perform the functions that they need to perform. I mean, like a GPS device, for example. I don't think this Google servers, for example, really needs to know. Oh wow, really? IBM is on top. Well, that's interesting, because really, because I thought that Google had pretty much overpowered them at this point. Wow, that's very interesting. But Google has to be up there, though, isn't it? It's got to be like in the top five, I would imagine. AI patent. Well, yeah, blockchain. Okay, cool. Well, that's very interesting. Proprietary software. The problem with proprietary software is it's a black box. You don't know what they're doing. You really don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Well, but here's the thing, intruder. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying I don't know what the statistics are. I can only tell you from what was told to me that someone who works regularly with the patent office is saying that in practice, Google has essentially taken over the U.S. Patent Office and how patents are done. That they basically get priority over smaller businesses. There's a lot of nefarious crap that's going on with when it comes to patents, when it comes to Google. So that's what it boils down to for me. Is like there's a lot of issues when it comes to that, and I feel that. Well, I think you raise a valid point there, G Gallon. G Gallon says, "I agree that you can't trust the governments to do this. I like your solution of having explicitly state what's going on, but too many users will just agree to whatever, just like the terms of service. I don't know what the solution is. Everything is infiltrated these days." Yeah, some people will just say, "Okay." I mean, I admit even myself, when I sign up for something, I don't necessarily read through every single piece of a terms of service. Um, I I sometimes just click OK, and if it says I'm going to hand over my firstborn, so be it. I guess I don't read it. So, um, I have to say this, and then I gotta take off because I got appointments that I gotta go to, and I gotta drive for a little while here, so I can't stay much longer. But I will say this: I think I think increasing the transparency is as at least it's at least a good first step. Knowing what data is being used is a good step. Knowing where it goes is a good step. I think educating people about this is also key. This is the problem. The problem that we have here isn't so much just the developers and the app developers and governments spying on you. The issue is that people have made it easy for it. No, no, troll. It's not. It's not. It's China's asshole. HOE. And let's be clear, it's the government, the Chinese government that's the asshole. Like, I don't blame the individual people. But the problem is that people in general, when they use technology, like with Facebook, people just regurgitate their lives all over Facebook. Why would you do that? Why would you volunteer that information? Don't you have any modicum of like privacy concerns? I don't know. I was raised to be very self-conscious and very self-conscious about what information I provide people, even just speaking to them. Because you don't air your dirty laundry, for example. So I don't know. I feel that it's very strange to me when I saw, like, when Facebook came around, or other social media where people were just talking about everything, every single aspect of their lives. What was going on in their bedroom, what was going on in their bathroom, what was going on in their kitchen, everything. It's like, good lord, dude. Yeah, it is dopamine hits, I know. It's addicted, being addicted to likes. I get that, yeah. I get it. I understand that. So it is what it is when it comes to that sort of thing, but at the same time, like, I was never attracted to that. It never wooed me. It never seduced me. So, well, and the thing is this, yeah, some of my work requires a Facebook account, but that doesn't mean you have to use it. You can create an account, use it for work, for whatever work you do, and then you're done. Like, I haven't used Facebook I signed up because I was coerced by friends and my work required it. And then I never posted anything on it. I never cared about it. I never used it for my own personal reasons. I only used the actual account when I had to go into someone's page or I had to do work on social media for whatever. That's it. That's all. That's it. So it's not difficult to just get off that bandwagon, or if you just keep it contained in its own little bubble, and you only use it for whatever you need to use it for. Like, if it's a professional thing, you need to use it for work. Just use it for work. That's it. If you use the marketplace to sell stuff, just use it to sell stuff, and then that's it. You don't need to regurgitate every single aspect of your life on social media. And unfortunately, people just bleh, just do just do that. But anyways, I would love to continue this discussion. I actually made a presentation about the ethics of social media and corporations. So this is a topic that I've done a lot of study in, and this is a topic that I find fascinating, actually. So I would love to actually maybe even dedicate an entire episode to something like this, where we really dive deep into the ethical implications of social media society, how it works in the corporate world, things like that. The Eliza bot is dead? When did that happen? What? When did that happen? Oh. Well, here's to the Eliza bot. Mm. Sip of coffee for her. I had fun with the Eliza bot when it wasn't around. That was a fun little toy. Ah, Sammy ruins everything. F for Eliza. That's right. Oh man. But anyways, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening to me, and I want to thank everybody on YouTube, D Live, and Periscope. Please follow me on all my social media, Twitter, Gab, Parlor, Minds, on all the video platforms, YouTube, Periscope, D Live, Bitwave. Subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell. If you want to support me, I appreciate it. Streamlabs.com/theeternalabyss. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I will see you Monday. No streams on the weekend. I will see you Monday morning. Have fun, and remember, kids, as always, don't be complacent. And I just realized I really messed up my my text thing. I don't know why that happened here. Let me retype this here. Goodness. Just give me 1 second here. I was gonna do my little send off. So there we go. All right. So once again, don't be complacent, kids. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Monday. And I'm always lurking around Bitwave anyway, so I'll probably still chat a little bit and things like that. But be good. Don't be complacent. Have fun.